and developing new products in the insurance industry. We will discuss product development aimed at closing the protection gap and exploring various reinsurance solutions that introduce new models for capacity availability. Additionally, we will address the climate risks and the importance of sustainable insurance in safeguarding future generations. Finally, we will examine how adopting digital practices can help reduce operational costs. Our moderator for this session is Mr. Marc Büker, Board Member, Market Manager, SCOR.
So good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks to be there. First of all, in the name of the five of us, we would like to thank you for being there and to extend also our gratitude to the Insurance Federation of Egypt. So you will see that in that panel we'll be talking about digitalization, new products, be it on medical or more on P&C products. We'll be having some history of the protection gap with the medical and then reinsurance as well. Then we'll pass on P&C, the reinsurance with Mohammed, and then we'll go more on digitalization, how digitalization transforms our industry together with Ali, and Ahmed will finish with more Egyptian cases and especially with the new insurance law, so that you can have really concrete takeaways. Maybe let's start with some introductory comments about the protection gap that we'll be speaking. So we go on the first slide. This is just to put a frame on what we will be talking about on that session. Let's focus on what happened only in these 2 last months. Can you imagine? We had many events, starting from the first one, Boris. You know all of them, but unfortunately they hold all of them some records, and this happened only these last 2 months. That is to tell you how our world is becoming more uncertain and volatile. Boris is a heavy rain which hits 7 different countries in Europe, and it was the heaviest rainfall of the 10 last years. Helen is the second deadliest hurricane in the US of these last 50 years. Milton has more than 50 billion loss, and the Spanish floods is the second deadliest ever in Europe with over 300 casualties. We'll be focusing more on the natural catastrophes today, especially with Mohammed, but there are also protection gaps in 2 other areas we'll not be touching on today, but cyber risk is one of them. And if we say that there is a $1 trillion challenge on the cyber risk, that means that the protection gap is much wider in cyber than in nat cat, for instance. In the natural events, we can say that in average we have a protection gap of 75%. When it goes to cyber risk, this is around 95%. And if we say $1 trillion, is that because we assume that yearly the cost of cyber crime is currently $10 trillion US dollars. So there is no error on the zeros. I have checked. 10 trillion. 10 trillion is if you transform it in a country economy, it is the 3rd largest economy in the world after US and China. And then social unrest because of the mega shocks that we are globally witnessing with COVID, with supply chain disruption, with inflation and political polarization. Well, we have a purpose, of course. I mean, we, as we have seen there, our aim is to achieve profitability targets. But as an industry, we have also a purpose. And the purpose is to protect the society and reducing the protection gap. So our aim, our challenge is to expand the area of the insurable risks. And this comes with knowing much more about these risks, with the technologies that we have, to be able to price them and to give the adequate cover to the insurers. That is the last slide I will be showing, just to introduce our panelists. I have chosen some events which are not in the region, because when we talk about protection gap, we generally say that our market is not enough protected, whereas others are well protected. Well, it is not much the case. We talked about Helen hurricane. The insured part of the Helen hurricane is only 5%. So it is 95% protection gap on Helen hurricane. But when you see that slide, of course there is an outlier which is Haiti. It is only 1% insured. But also the Tohoku earthquake and tsunami, it was only 16% of an insured loss. And coming back to what I said, let's define what is a protection gap. That is, of course, the difference between the economic loss and the insured loss. But that definition of the Geneva Association is maybe a bit more precise. It is the difference between the amount of insurance that is economically beneficial and the amount of coverage actually purchased.